that's the major theme I'm hearing. You're on tour, you're super busy, you find this mass, and it's such a fast time period from diagnosis to surgery. And, as you mentioned, even the surgery, you're like in and out. It's a lot to process. How did you navigate the fact that this was all happening so quickly?
Well, I was in the middle of, I just taped my first special, the Thank You China special. And so I joke about it on my Lucky Lefty special, but I also am serious about the joke in the sense that I was like, I had nothing to talk about. And so when this was happening, I was like, oh, all right, this is what I got to talk about for the next, whatever amount of time.
Yeah.
And maybe skipping ahead to another question you may have, but because my line of work is literally just talking about things happening to me or things that I'm observing, by just being on stage with it all the time and just making funny out of all the things that were happening, I kind of gave myself exposure therapy by just immediately talking about it and writing it down. Just even the notes that I was taking about the things that were happening were a way of processing it without letting any real woe is me emotion kind of take hold. And I was also cognizant of the fact that it was nuts how I was very grateful, no pun intended. I was very grateful that, hey, my cousins were super fast with the response times and all that stuff. But how quickly I was able to move through it, I was very cognizant of the fact that I was, in a very abnormal time frame, right? A lot of people would have had to wait those 2 months to get a follow-up ultrasound to see if that mass grew. When I woke up, after that hospital visit, literally 5 hours later, on the phone with a cousin, literally 2 hours later, on the phone with the urologist, literally 24 hours after that, getting blood work done. And then 24 hours after that, being told I had cancer. So I'm very cognizant. I was very fortunate. And at the same time, I was like, oh, yes, here's the new material. I got this. And so that was it, really. There was, I joked that I didn't have time to process it, but I was just processing it as it was happening because it was happening so quickly, and because I have the line of work that makes me make sure that I write everything down and process it as it's happening. That's how I was able to process it so quickly, because it was happening so quick, even though it was happening so quick.